Before we kind of wrap up, I would like to speak to you a little bit about the work that you do with women who are going through the menopause.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right in saying that most of your clients are women?
Yeah, most are women, and now most are perimenopausal women or postmenopausal. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of like the key learnings and tips and things you might do differently for people that are at that stage in their lives?
So I would say the biggest one, and people probably don't like this, but the biggest one is to listen to them as human beings first. So I think a lot of people will brand people with the brush of like, oh, you're perimenopausal, you should be doing this or you shouldn't be doing this. I've got perimenopausal women who have almost no symptoms and train exactly how they used to train and are in great shape. And I've got others who have found it really hard and have ended up putting on a lot of weight and who are struggling to exercise and who can't quite or maybe struggling with depression. You know, it completely depends. Everyone's experience is completely different. And I think now, because we speak about it more, which is a great thing generally, but the negatives of that are most women are now scared to go through the menopause because there's so much fear-mongering around it, and because you only hear about poor experiences, right? No one's like on the front page of the newspaper being like, I went through the perimenopause and nothing bad happened, because you're just like rubbing people's noses in it that are struggling. Yeah. So you don't hear about that. And much like with women giving birth, you normally only hear about like the horror stories, right? You're not like, yeah, I just had quite a normal birth.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear so much. So there is that element of like negativity bias. And then secondly, it's become a huge marketing thing for like selling supplements. Yeah. Well, everything, but like specifically supplements. And then in my realm as well, like exercise specific for perimenopausal women and like, you know, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, all that kind of stuff. So the truth is you really need to treat the individual in front of you. You need to treat the symptoms that they're having.
Yep.
If you are taking HRT, a lot of the potential changes that previously I would have been like, that might make sense, like maybe lowering training volume because of lower estrogen levels impacting your ability to recover from exercise. If you're taking HRT, a lot of that's kind of mitigated anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're not sleeping well, then obviously your training's going to be impacted. If your mood's lower, then obviously your motivation levels are going to be impacted. So it's really just listening to the individual and knowing that even throughout the month, and I think this is one of the hardest parts, is that women often experience like mood fluctuations, motivation fluctuations throughout the month.
Yep.
But when you don't know when your cycle is coming or if it's coming, or if those fluctuations, you know, like, or if you're like, am I just in a really bad mood all the time now? Or am I like struggling with some kind of like hormonal fluctuation or mood shift because of that? That can be really hard to manage. So yeah, I think it's just like having a bit more support, but also knowing that you don't have to cram yourself into a box and you don't have to put limitations on yourself because of this. And I've had clients that have come to me that are like, yeah, I was told I shouldn't be doing HIIT training anymore because it's going to increase my cortisol levels and they'll already be high because I'm going through the menopause and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, that if you love HIIT, and do you know that actually the thing that comes up the most is like, I love spin classes or I love Les Mills, but I've had to stop them.
But why? Yeah.
Exactly, because of this like cortisol idea. And normally that's followed by the person this is from with, you should be resistance training, which is true. But what tends to happen is they get overwhelmed with how to resistance train. They stop doing the exercise they love and then they do nothing because they're like, but I thought I was doing a good thing and then I told I wasn't doing that good thing. And now I'm told to do this thing I don't understand. So I'm just going to do nothing. And that's the worst possible position. Like doing a Les Mills class is fucking great. Like if you love that, if you enjoy it, if you get social stuff from it, like I'd be buzzing if my mum was doing that.
So keep doing it basically.
Yeah. And hey, maybe it's not quote unquote optimal.
Right.
But if it's optimal versus nothing.
Yeah.
Or if you can also add in a resistance training workout, but don't fearmonger over your spin class.
So basically just keep doing what you were doing before as much as possible.
Yeah, which for some people is completely unrealistic, right? If they are really struggling with symptoms. So then it's about bridging the gap between like, okay, what are you doing now? How can we get you moving a bit more? And the thing is, all of the research, kind of the only thing that is conclusive about how to treat perimenopause is that diet, exercise, lifestyle modification is the ultimate treatment. But when you feel like shit, when you're having hot flashes, when you've put on weight and you don't feel like anything has changed and you can't understand it and you have this kind of shift in body fat that often occurs where you store more around the middle and you feel really uncomfortable and your motivation is low and you're not sleeping, you're not likely to want to improve your diet and exercise, right? So you kind of need to gradually get people there, because you know that's what is going to have them feeling their best. But to go from 0 to 100, people just give up.
So it goes back to the principles of starting slow, building it up, not doing too much.
Yeah, but not so slow, because this is the other thing. It's like, start slow, but not so slow that it's boring for people. You know, if I was like to you, all right, all we're going to do is just add 1,000 steps a day, you'd be like, I'm not excited enough. You know, it needs to be somewhat of a challenge.
My coach showed me on Monday and he came up and he went, "You're not supposed to be training today." I was like, yes. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be here. Coming in a hoodie. But no, you're right. It's got to be stimulating for people.
I think it has to push people just outside their comfort zone, but not a million miles so that they just feel like giving up.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Well, Emma, we've covered an awful lot again. Thank you for coming on and sharing all your expertise and wisdom. And you've shared your business handles for the listener. Maybe you want to share your socials as well?